2.5 years ago, we went to the PGA once we knew we were the venue and asked them if there was anything structurally we needed to do to the golf course. We only did some minor work, and that was more around tees where we had to change angles and things a little bit to accommodate the size of the infrastructure to be able to build the size of the stands and things around the first tee. The 14th hole and the 16th hole, we extended the tee back to add a little bit more length, but also bring it in line where the tee shots are in the zone where a lot of the corporate hospitality is placed.
Just tell us a little bit about the greens here and the grass, a little bit of history and how you've been managing that leading up to the President's Cup.
We have a little bit different type of bentgrass, so it's predominantly a colonial bentgrass, so upright growing more than a creeper. And it has some requirements that are a little bit different. And we, over the winter, really have focused on our power control in the greens, and that's been important this time of year to be able to present a sort of uniform surface without the blemishes of spots of power and things. But now we're 2 weeks away probably from the main event, so we're just concentrating on plant health, our protection products going out, and just trying to tweak that, get that balance right between growth and firmness.
The greens themselves, the expectation of A1 condition all the time. Have you changed that preparation for this tournament?
Well, it's probably more attention to detail, and certainly we're not leaving anything to chance. We just find that turf's a little bit sensitive, particularly in the hot weather when it's under duress, so we just require a good preventative program with most things. Putting it under the extra stress of a tournament preparation where your cutting's more frequent, you're drying it out a bit more to get the firmness. We just want to make sure that we're covered for anything that might pop up in that situation. Yeah, well, this event is a US PGA Tour event, so they have their systems and their people that are involved in tournaments. So we have an agronomy representative from the tour that we've been dealing with, Cal Roth, and he's been out here 3 times probably over the last 2 years. He's due here on Monday, so a week out from the tournament, and we'll start to be involved with their requirements. And the rules officials also from the tour that do this course setup, they'll have some input into the expectations for certain weather conditions and green speeds and things as well. So that's an added area that we've got to work with.
Tell us a little bit about the infrastructure and how that's gone and any challenges you've had, getting it in here and setting it up.
So massive amount of hardware coming into the golf course, and that's been happening since about the second week of October. But we have a schedule to try and deal with the things that are going to impact most on our turf to sort of back them up to the last dates that we could. So this is the last grandstand to be built, and it's going to be built over the top of our practice putting green. Expect the stand to be on there for 2.5 to 3 weeks. It'll be the first thing to come down as well. But we'll have to deal with some, particularly where the foot plates are on the turf, we'll have to deal with some turf repair there for sure. But it's a 2,000 seat stadium on your putting green, you don't have that every day. Careful you get on camera here. The 2 captains come out to make a visit 12 months out, and so we had a meeting at that time with Ernie as the international team captain. Well, the captain has a little bit of influence over how they would like the course prepared. Really his view was he wanted to see Royal Melbourne play as it traditionally does. There's no fairway narrowing down or rough grown or anything change around the greens or the green speeds and things. He's expecting to be firm and fast conditions. Obviously that's weather related. Rain in the forecast the next few days, and that would be ideal if we can get some rain at this time, and then warm up after that. That would be our ideal scenario, but it never quite goes to plan. You can see behind me here, this is the 16th hole, and so with a match play format, 16th hole is on average where most of the matches will finish on and around the 16th hole. So It's normally the 18th hole in our composite course. So the major corporate hospitality is on this hole. So this is where they started building first, and you can see it's quite extensive. We had 14 forklifts or telehandlers on site this last week. So those sort of things, and trucks coming in, cranes lifting structures up, all that sort of stuff. And it's been quite dry here, so our sandy terrain, you put that sort of traffic on it, it tends to sort of break up, and then we start to get, you know, wheel ruts and exposed sand and things which may cause us some issues from a play perspective. So this is all the going in, and we've got to turn around and pull it all out again at the end. But of course, we're trying to protect the surfaces as much as possible. So yeah, one of the things for us is that we can't be distracted by all this going on around us. Our main focus is to prepare the playing surfaces.
Yeah, we manage 3 golf courses. We've got a lot of machinery, a lot of Toro equipment, so we've been fortunate enough they've offered us some equipment for the tournament, but allocating the right piece of equipment is going to be crucial. A lot of it's the same, but at different heights. So this is where the staff will be for the tournament. We'll have that up on the board, everything they need to know there. The staff will be in their separate groups when they sit down before the morning meeting, and then we'll break up into a greens management, fescue management team from there and give direct instructions if need be.
So it's a big job with the amount of volunteers that are involved in the President's Cup.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about how the process of obtaining the volunteers.
As a management team, we sat down probably 12 months ago and worked out how many volunteers we'd like. We sort of capped it around that sort of 40 to 50 mark. We probably turned away double that amount. We've got superintendents from around the world, some assistant superintendents from sandbelt clubs, and then up and coming apprentices and greenkeepers as well. So it's a good mixture. And the superintendents, we think they're probably going to play a key part in the greens management, and that's why they're over here, so they'll be involved in that. Sort of apprentices and those sorts of greenkeepers, probably more the bunkers and tees mowing, that sort of thing. We use a task tracker system, so we've used that for a couple of years now. We just think it's really professional. We can set the machinery, the workmen's, all that sort of thing in there, greens directions. It'll make it more efficient for us, so we want a really professional, what we do out on the golf course, but the way we deliver the task to be really professional as well. It has all the information that we require, and it'll make it more efficient from a day-to-day basis being on the computer. It's a lot easier to track than the manual sort of method.
There's also the infrastructure across the road at Sandringham course there, where you've actually done a development on the golf course there as well.
We've done 9 holes, so stage 1's done. It's growing in. The end of January next year, we'll flip over, they'll play on the new 9, and we'll start work on the second 9 redevelopment. So yeah, that's been a bit of a juggling act as well. It's the main entry area for the event. Plus it's the public areas, so there's a pop-up restaurant in there, there's the merchandise, there's interactive zones, there's bars, food outlets, catering tables and things positioned. So it's quite a big area. It's probably 2 or 3 hectares of area taken up with that, and then the rest of the site's used for car parking.
What sort of timeline do they have from start to finish to pull it down?
The 15th of December is the last date of competition, and then there's 2 days of amateur event after that. I think they'll work right up to Christmas Eve to get things like the stand off the putting green and some of the structures off some of the other holes that are in, and then progressively work backwards from where they did the build initially, and the least impact things will come out last. So I expect we'll still be dealing with things sort of towards the end of January. Turf will recover when the structures are removed, particularly couch grass will recover quite well. It'll just be time for it to recover from having been covered.